Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to begin this evening's board meeting. Well, not really. We want to hear some more music. But the school board meeting of October 7, 2019 is now called to order. The time is 6:01 p.m. At this time, we request that all electronic devices be put into the silent mode. Also, we ask that you please refrain from using flash photography, except during special presentations portion of the meeting. The agenda can also be found in our district's website, www.leeschools.net. Navigate to the Leadership tab and choose School Board. We would like to take this opportunity to remind the members of the public of the district's mission, which is to ensure that each student achieves his or her highest personal potential, and the district's vision, which is to be a world-class school system. Prior to the start of this evening's board meeting, we have been enjoying tremendously the Fort Myers High School Swingin' Seas Jazz Ensemble under the direction of Zach Dieter. These musicians audition for the jazz ensemble and make up the best musicians at Fort Myers High School. This group plays for several events around the county, with highlights being the Bonita Blues Festival and the International Day of Prayer Breakfast. They have received superior ratings for several years in their district-level music performance assessment and received a high excellent at the state level last year. At this time, the Swingin' Seas will perform one more song. Take it away. And we will take a brief pause to clear the performance area.
You guys are great.
All right.
Just doing assignment.
Okay, thank you. Back up. Aiden Henson is this evening's student representative from the school board, from the School Board Student Advisory Committee. He is a friendly and responsible 8th grader from Mariner Middle School. Aiden has served on the Student Advisory Committee since 6th grade. He is a 2-year member of his robotics team, is a founding member of his school's ecology club, and he spends time outside of school volunteering for Keep Lee County Beautiful. Aiden's 3 years on the School Board Student Advisory Committee have taught him valuable information about Lee County schools, such as how some of the important decisions are made within our district. He feels being involved on the Student Advisory Committee helps him make his school and other schools safe and effective places to learn. He hopes to continue to be a representative throughout high school as well. Welcome back, Aiden. And you'll be hearing from him a little bit more later on. Now we move to the approval of the agenda. This evening's agenda includes the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance, 1 acknowledgement, 1 reading of resolution, 3 recognitions, public comment, consent action items, which include 7 items under executive services, of which 1 is good cause. Dr. Atkins, please provide an explanation.
Madam Chair, the good cause item is approval of additional board member travel to the FSBA School Finance 2.0 Forum. And because I believe this occurs on October 10th, it's important to get this approval for the additional dollars needed to fund this.
Thank you. As presiding officer, I find there is good cause to add this one item to the agenda. We will have 4 items under business services, 3 items under human resources, 1 item under information systems, as well as 8 items under operations, and 4 items under other business. Board members, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Ms. Giovanelli and seconded by Ms. Fisher. Please record your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Mrs. Patrica will deliver the invocation, after which Ms. Jordan will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise for the invocation.
Paul's letter to the Romans recommends, "Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Amen.
Okay, the cadet presenting the national colors tonight will be introduced by Lieutenant Colonel Barry C. Dickerson, the senior Army instructor at Bonita Springs High School. Lieutenant Colonel Dickerson retired from the active service in 2014 after 29 years of distinguished service. He is a Desert Storm and Iraqi War veteran. Prior to his arrival in Lee County, he was the Deputy Director for the First Human Resources Sustainment Center in Germany. And thank you for your service.
Thank you. The national colors for our Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be presented by Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Bradley Walters of the Bonita Springs High School Junior ROTC program. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Walters is the highest-ranking cadet leader in the Bull Shark Battalion and holds the unique distinction of serving as the program's first battalion commander. He superbly leads an organization of 338 JROTC cadets. Cadet Walters is also an exceptional student, achieving a 3.86 GPA while being dual enrolled at Florida Gulf Coast University. He is an Eagle Scout and a member of the Civil Air Patrol and the Order of the Arrow. After high school, Cadet Walters plans to attend Emory-Riddle Aeronautical University and pursue a career as an aviator. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
You may be seated.
Not us.
Well, he has to read first. He has to read the character word.
Usually, that's all I usually do.
Okay, you got it.
Done beforehand.
Okay, and our character word for this month of October is respect. And Aiden's going to read that for us. Oh,
So the character education word for October is respect. Showing regard for the value of persons or things through courteous consideration and appreciation. Here's a quote: "There is no respect for others without humility in oneself," by Henry Frederick Amel.
okay. And Aiden is also going to read for us a resolution from the school board in honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month. So we really appreciate our minority majority here in the school district, and this is on behalf of all of our Hispanic students, teachers, and employees and our community. Go ahead.
Whereas Congress passed Public Law 100 and 402 in 1998, which amended Public Law 90 through 498, which changed National Hispanic Heritage Week to National Hispanic Heritage Month, and whereas President Ronald Reagan authorized an annual proclamation designated the 31st day, the 31-day period as National Hispanic Heritage Month, and whereas we recognize the many Americans of Hispanic descent who have made outstanding contributions to our nation, and whereas the rich cultural traditions of the Hispanic American community have made a remarkable impact on American society, and whereas the diverse backgrounds of Hispanic Americans and their dedication to family have become an integral part of America, and whereas a deep commitment to faith and a strong desire to live the American dream, these citizens are realizing the full blessings of liberty, and whereas educational opportunities are helping a new generation work toward success, and many Hispanic Americans operate thriving small businesses. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Lee County, Florida, hereby proclaims the 31-day period of September 15th through October 15th, 2019 as National Hispanic Heritage Month.
Okay, thank you so much. And now we will convene for our recognitions. I would like to invite Jeff Spiro, Chief Academic Officer, Mr. Matthew Kay, Coordinator of Social Studies and Advanced Courses, K through 12, and Mrs. Melissa Robry, Principal of East Lee County High School, to come forward. I would also like to ask Mr. Charles Morrison to join us at the lectern. And while you're coming, I have to tell you, even the secretaries know that once a JAG, always a JAG. They let me do this one. Okay, the Florida Council of Social Studies, FCSS, is a professional organization of social studies educators striving to maintain and enhance the importance of social studies in Florida education. The FCSS Teacher of the Year Awards honor outstanding elementary, middle, junior, and high school teachers for each of Florida's school districts. Nominations from each county are submitted only by local district superintendents or their designees. Mr. Charles Morrison Jr., teacher for East Lee County High School, was recognized by the Lee County School District as its representative as the High School Teacher of the Year. Mr. Morrison was chosen as the high school winner of the Dr. Theron Trimble Teacher of the Year Award. This award recognizes exceptional social studies teachers throughout Florida. The school board and the superintendent are pleased to recognize and congratulate Mr. Charles Morrison Jr. as the recipient of the 2019 Dr. Theron Trimble Teacher of the Year Award.
Thank you so much. I know. Thank you.
Yeah, oh yeah, I guess.
I would like to invite Dr. Douglas Santini, Executive Director, School Development, and Ms. Angela Rolls, Principal of Cypress Lake High School, to come forward. The Florida Department of Education supports a complete and comprehensive education that includes dance, music, theater, visual arts for all Florida students. To help achieve the goal, the Florida Department of Education, in partnership with the Florida Alliance for Arts Education, seeks to identify model arts education program in schools throughout Florida. The Florida Arts Model Schools Program recognizes schools that offer exemplary programs in any of our 4 arts disciplines and provides mentorship to schools and underserved and emerging arts program. Applications to receive this specialized designation are reviewed by the Florida Art Education Association, Florida Association for Theater Education, Florida Dance Education Organization, and the Florida Music Educators Association. The school board and the superintendent are pleased to recognize Cypress Lake High School under the direction of Mrs. Angela Rolls, principal, for being designated the Florida Arts Model Schools for 2019. Comprehensive designations. The designation was assigned to the theater department and remains in place for 3 years. Congratulations.
I would like to invite Ms. Beth Whiff, Coordinator of Health Services, and Mrs. Heather Parker, Wellness Coordinator for Insurance and Benefits Management, to come forward. The criterion for recognition as a Florida Healthy School District is the Florida Healthy School District self-assessment tool. And Angela Pruitt. This tool was developed by experts from state agencies, school districts, and community partner organizations working together through the Florida Coordinated School Health Partnership. The self-assessment is based on the 8 components of the Coordinated School Health Model and focuses on district infrastructure, policy, programs, and practices identified from national and state guidelines, best practices, and Florida statutes. Recognition achievement levels are based on the overall assessment score and include 3 categories: bronze level, silver level, and gold level. The district is performing as a leader in the state in the area of social services, school counseling, health education, physical education, district infrastructure, nutrition services, and demonstrated the most highly commendable and outstanding scores related to policies and processes in the areas of health services, healthy school environment, employee wellness, and family and community involvement. The school board and superintendent are pleased to announce that through the Florida Coordinated Health School Partnership and Florida Action for Healthy Kids, the School District of Lee County has achieved the status of a Florida Healthy School District at the silver level. Congratulations.
I was trying to get Dr. Spiro.
Oh, he's not playing.
Okay. The design you see displayed on the screen was created by, what's that name?
And Nissan.
Brianna's, an 11th grade student from Estero High School.
And do you want to read it?
Okay. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Talk to people the way you want to be talked to. Respect is earned, not given.
Okay, thank you. All right, great job, baby. All that reading we had you do.
Thank you.
We'll take a brief recess for those that may want to leave. It looks like nobody's jumping up quickly, so we will continue. Our next segment is public comment. Mr. Bierman, will you please address the agenda item of public comment?
Yes, Chair. Madam Chair, School Board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on this meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. If members of the audience completed a card and submitted the card before the meeting began, you'll be called in order of which you submitted your card. If you did not complete a card but still wish to address the board this evening, Ms. Giddens, the board chair, will give you an opportunity in a moment to express that desire. The rules concerning public comment are posted at the back of the room. Speakers and those attending the meeting are expected to act in a respectful manner. Attacks on individuals or abusive comments are prohibited. Booing, hissing, clapping, shouting, or cursing will not be tolerated. Madam Chair, I have only 7 cards, so unless there are another 13 people that raise their hand and wish to speak, the time allotted for each speaker will be 3 minutes.
Thank
Does
you.
anybody else wish to speak who has not filled out a
Anyone
card?
on my right? Anyone on the left that has not completed a card?
Okay, I'm going to call people to start coming up to line up at the microphones, please. Beginning with William Porter, Laura Vollinger, Melissa LaForge, and Charles Fox, or
And there's-
Charlo Fox.
There are 2 mics, so you can do 2 and 2 if you like. And please state your name prior to speaking.
All right, Mr. Porter first. You may begin.
Good evening, distinguished members of the board. I'm here on behalf of Harns Marsh Middle School. I've been a teacher here for 4 years and have seen a remarkable change in teacher classroom management and instructional teaching strategies. Because of these changes, I travel from the edge of Marker Island every day to work. Mr. Dorzansky has been instrumental in ensuring that all teachers have the required training to be world-class teachers. In other words, he has made us fat. He's made us faithful to the teaching mission, approachable by students, parents, and teachers, and teachable. The ability to receive feedback and constructive criticism and to give the same. Faithful to the teaching mission by ensuring that all new teachers are assigned an experienced mentor, given biweekly professional learning community training in weak areas such as classroom management, effective instructional and research-based teaching strategies, and enhanced technology skills. Experienced teachers who feel the need for further improvement and career advancement are given the opportunity to enroll in his revolutionary Apples 2.0 program. These programs together have turned our school from a D school to a B-rated school. There is a new sense of pride and accomplishment here that has turned this group of teachers into a family. He has modeled how a professional needs to be approachable by insisting that positive phone calls are made home for students to build relationships at home and in the classroom. He has scheduled a 2-day classroom management class for teachers on the weekend, coming soon, to help build student relationships in the classroom. Furthermore, he insists that students, when given a discipline, are given a chance to do right by using restorative justice practices. He has also stressed the need to approach each other professionally to deal with issues and hold each other accountable. He has made us teachable by showing us to receive constructive feedback and criticism and how to give the same. These characteristics make Mr. D fit for the position of principal at Harns Marsh Middle School. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Vollinger.
Hi, my name is Laura Bollinger. I've been at Orange Marsh since the school opened, and this will be our 4th principal. Linda Mayer has led us in the right direction. We've gone from teacher turnover like crazy. Our kids travel in and out of our school all the time. But with her leadership, she's shown us the way we need to go. Saying that, she's also shown Mr. Dorzansky how to lead our school. Our school is very different. We are very different in the East Zone. I'm just asking that you bring a principal from somebody that knows our school and our students, and that if you bring somebody in new, there's going to be downtime. Everybody's going to have to learn how to work with each other. But if we promote Mr. Dorzansky from within, he knows our school, he knows our policies, he knows our kids. Our teachers deserve Mr. Dorzansky, but our kids need Mr. Dorzansky.
LaForge.
Hi, good evening. My name is Melissa LaForce. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. At Harns Marsh Middle School, 69% of our staff drive more than 15 miles one way to school. I am part of that 69%. I live in Northwest Cape Coral, and I choose to drive 46 miles round trip because of our leadership. I've had the opportunity to work alongside Mr. D at 3 schools. He has supported my professional growth and even gave me the push to earn an additional graduate degree in educational leadership. The Marsh is a family. The family has worked so hard to grow, and we celebrate our successes together as a family. He encourages everyone to grow and to be a part of the school community just outside the classrooms as well. I believe Mr. D is the best candidate to continue the mission and vision of Harns Marsh Middle School. My hope is that you will use the input from the survey and our family can stay together and continue to grow together with Alex Dorzansky as our new principal. Thank you.
Next is Charles Fox, then Catherine Lavala, then Bianca McGinley, then Noella Martinez Marquedal.
And that's Charla Fox.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board. Dr. Adkins. Charla Fox, sorry, I was a little tickled there. Okay, I'm talking today because we have heard a little bit from the governor and this new proposal of raising base price or base pay to $47,500. While I can see some really good things in that, it still does not address teacher retention. I wanted to bring a few facts to you, as I told you I would do over the last board meeting. In looking at research, I have found that in the 2006-2007 school year, Florida teachers were ranked 28th in the nation in average salary. Florida is now the 46th in the nation in average salary. While we had a recession during that time, we have recovered from it. Also, Florida's salaries have dropped not just relative to what they used to be when adjusted for inflation, but also relative to the rest of the country. In looking at the 2016 report from the Economic Policy Institute, it tells us that teachers earned 17% less than similarly educated workers in other fields. In 1994, that gap was 1.8%. I then started looking at what was going on in Lee County during that time. In 2008-2009, our base salary for a teacher with 20 years of experience was $53,257. In 2019, for 20 years of experience, that is $50,500. It is a decrease of $2,757. We know that this is in large part to Senate Bill 736. We need to come and have a conversation with our legislators about it. But on top of that, when you're adjusting for inflation, that base salary in 2019 should be adjusted by 19.5% because of inflation, and that's per the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That would take us to $63,688. What is the governor proposing for retention? That's part of what we need to know. We need to know that, yes, we can recruit new teachers, and that is incredibly important, but it is your experienced teachers that are really going to be able to bring up the...
Speaker's time has expired. Next speaker is Catherine Lavala.
Hi, my name is Catherine Lavala. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me speak. This is my 6th year at Harns Marsh, and along with Mrs. Mayer, Mr. Jorzansky has been in the teachers and students' corners. He creates bonds with teachers, pushes and guides us to do our best. He even started Apples 2.0 for all teachers wanting extra assistance and support. Mr. Jorzansky takes pride in every student, encouraging them to be pros and learning from their mistakes. To stay on our learning-focused path, we feel it would be in the best interest to minimize the disruption and keep the focus on student learning. To accomplish this during a leadership transition, the best candidate is one who will smoothly continue the process currently in place. This candidate is Mr. Jorzansky. Thank you.
Bianca McGinley.
Good evening. My name is Bianca McGinley, and I've worked at Harns Marsh Middle School for 3 years. After learning of Linda Mayer's recent promotion, we were asked as a staff to provide feedback on what qualities we look for in our next principal. Some of those qualities include integrity, humanity, vitality, altruism. Our next principal will build on the foundation we have created. They will lead with compassion and bring innovation as we continue to grow the minds of our next generation. We are making enormous strides and doing amazing things in our school, and our next leader will maintain that progress. If it is true that we have a voice in this matter, then I hope you hear our voices loud and clear. The only possible candidate to be the next principal of Harns Marsh Middle School is Alex Jorzansky. Thank you for your time.
Noelia Martinez Marquedal.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Noelia Martinez, and I am a support staff member at Harns Marsh Middle School. I have had the pleasure of working with Mr. Jorzansky for about 3.5 years now, and alongside him for 2 years. In my time working with Mr. D, I've grown to see his true character and can genuinely say that he cares for everyone at Harns Marsh, the students, the staff, and even the parents. He goes out of his way to assure that our school runs as safe and secure as possible, and that his staff is always well taken care of by supporting them in every way he can. He's always making sure our students are well being taken care of and has built a bond with them that many admire. He also enlists confidence, determination, and positivity in his teachers and staff. He is an amazing administrator who is always there to build you up and make you proud of working in the Marsh. I can truly say that I am blessed to have a caring leader like him. Thank you for your time.
Madam Chair, that concludes the public comments for which I have cards.
Thank you. I'll start with Ms. Fox. Thank you for the, there she is. Thank you for the interesting information. We had our recent legislative meeting last week, and actually it was at Harns Marsh. Yeah, there you go, whoop, whoop over there. And make sure to take a look at our legislative agenda and some of those items, and everyone can be involved in that by knowing who your legislators are and letting them know what you think. You hear some of these numbers and this data that are just really shocking, that some teacher salaries are going down instead of up. So get in touch with your legislators and do whatever you can do to make sure that all of our teachers are treated fairly. And we have 6 others from Harns Marsh. Thank you all for supporting your school. You all are seem very proud of Harns Marsh. Thank you for hosting us last week and showing us some of the things that your students are doing, our students. And I heard lots of good comments about the food and the chop competition, so that was a hit. In our last workshop, our HR director talked about decentralized hiring process. And in that process, we do take into account what the schools have to say that are going to, get a new administrator. And so we thank you for your input. There will be, I believe, the survey will be coming up soon, or?
I think it's
has that
been
been done?
administered. It's
Okay.
been administered.
Right, the survey will be coming up, and some of your thoughts, you can make sure those are known as well, and thank you all for coming out. Okay. We move on to approval of the action items on the agenda under consent. Did I cover everyone? Yeah. The documentation for action items listed under consent is made available to the board members 7 days prior to the board meeting. We're expected to review all the material, and we have an opportunity to speak with the superintendent with any questions we may have regarding recommendations. Some of the items also have been briefed or workshopped with the board in advance of appearing on the action agenda. Board members, are there any items you wish to pull for discussion under unfinished or table items portion of the agenda? Ms. Fisher?
I have none this evening, thank you.
Ms. Giovanelli?
I have none.
Ms. Patrica?
No, thank you.
Ms. Jordan?
No, thank you.
Ms. Vaughn?
I have none.
Ms. Morgan?
I have none.
And I have none. Is there a motion to approve the agenda's consent action items with no exceptions this evening?
So moved.
Okay, Ms. Fisher and,
I second it.
oh, okay, Ms. Fisher and Ms. Vaughn. And please record your vote. And it passes, motion passes 7-0. Included in the approval of the consent items on the agenda are resolutions proclaiming October 14th through the 18th, October 14th to the 18th, 2019 is National School Lunch Week, as well as October 21st to the 25th, 2019 as National School Bus Safety. Let me go back to the School Lunch Week. If you are a parent or someone else here, visit some schools and have school lunch. You'll love the pizza, the kids tell me. Dr. Atkins, please introduce any administrators in attendance with a new assignment that were approved under the consent agenda.
Yes, Madam Chair. The first is, again, change of assignment. Dr. Ken Savage, operations from Executive Director, Operational Planning and Project Management to Acting Chief Operations Officer. Is a transfer and change of assignment. Jessica Duncan, Exceptional Student Education Director, to Student Services Executive Director. And last recommendation, Linda Mayer, Harns Marsh Middle School Principal to Middle School Development Executive Director.
I know there was sadness in that, right? But you put up a good show. Okay. Other business, we will move on to board member comments. And I think this meeting's going to go down in history as a short one.
It is.
Okay, don't hurt us here, anybody, right now. Okay, so Ms. Fisher, would you like to begin with your comments?
Sure. So October 6th through 12th is also Fire Prevention Week, so remember to test your smoke detectors in your homes. And thanks to all of our first responders and firefighters for all of the work that they do to keep us safe. When we had our legislative roundtable at Harns Marsh, we had an opportunity to visit the Chopped program, which is their culinary program. And I usually don't do this, but I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I ate 2 desserts. And I'm just impressed. So we had our inaugural meeting of our school board student advisory committee, during which time the kids were introduced to the Sunshine Law and given a legal lesson by Mr. Williams, our district staff attorney. And most of the kids said that they were happy to be there because they want to know more about local government and how what we do up here affects them daily in their schools. I had an opportunity to visit Trafalgar Elementary for Dictionary Day, so all 3rd graders received dictionaries from the Cape Coral Rotary, and I want to thank the Rotary for doing that annually. Before we left the room, the kids were already practicing the sign language page that was in there, and they said they were going to teach themselves sign language, and one little boy already knew how to say in sign language, "Hello, my name is," and "How are you?" So that was a pretty quick study. I also had an opportunity to visit Challenger Middle School and take a look at how things are going there with their new principal, and I was very impressed, and everybody seemed very happy, and people were working hard. Saturday night, I had an opportunity to participate in the prevention run sponsored by AluFab and Busey Bank for the benefit of the Drug Free Coalition. So based on some of the statistics that we talked about when we were at the legislative roundtable, in a 9-month period of time, we had 2,700 and some odd children under the age of 18 in the pediatric intensive care unit at Golisano Hospital for drug overdoses. So people, we have a problem, and we need to continue to work as hard as we can on prevention. This afternoon, I had an opportunity to visit the new United Way Community Impact Center, and it's at the Bell Tower in a donated space of over 7,000 feet. Their first project is school supplies. They're giving school supplies to teachers, and they also have a shopping room where teachers can get decorations for their room and all kinds of things, T-shirts. And so this is a community effort, and United Way is amazing because they pull together our community agencies, some of which work with us, like the Drug Free Coalition, like Learning for Life, like the Harry Chapin Food Bank, helping our kids every day. I just want to say that when those teachers started getting there this evening, I know they were going to be overwhelmed because it was an amazing opportunity for them, and here they are. Their first project is to support our teachers. So because of the statistics that Ms. Fox shared with us, we understand how difficult it is sometimes for teachers to take money out of their own pockets to buy supplies for the kids in their class. So I want to thank all of the agencies that support United Way and continue to help us in our quest to prepare the next generation's workforce. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Ms. Giovanelli?
I too attended the United Way Community Center, and it was actually, it's awesome. I couldn't believe all the things, the items that they had for the teachers, and all they have to do is contact them and set up a time and go. And so it's for any teacher throughout the district. So I encourage that if they're needing anything to just set that up and go shopping. I love to shop, so if they don't want to, I will help them. But and then I wanted to thank the Fort Myers High School Swing Seas Jazz Band. That was awesome, and I was very impressed. They're doing awesome things there. And I also wanted to welcome Aiden. It's good to see you again. And I wanted to, a construction advisory, we met this past week, and they're working on, there's the list of items that we're going to be using the tax dollars for, and they're going to go and check out the schools and give their recommendations back to us. So they're getting a list, and so that was a really good meeting, and it was and recorded and videotaped, and no one seems to have a problem with that. They really are liking it. They had a deep discussion on procurement, and we're going to have, they're going to be coming and giving us a presentation, so that'll be good from the results of that letter that was sent to us. I wanted to acknowledge all the staff and teachers and everybody from Harns Marsh and thank them and for their welcome that we had last week. That was awesome, and I can see they're going to miss their principal, and the support of Mr. Dworzinski, and I hope I'm saying that right. We're seeing your emails, and we appreciate it, and I really appreciate the fact that you're speaking out and coming to us and telling us how you feel, and you feel comfortable in doing that. So that's awesome, and we certainly are going to listen to it and acknowledge it. So I wanted to also, one other thing, I think I got it. I hit my list. So thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Ms. Jordan?
It's my turn, I have my list.
Well, see, and the bad thing is being last, because everybody's been where I've been, so
Yes, I'm listening to that too, so I'm not going to be redundant.
I have one more thing, I'm sorry. Mr. Burnside, the principal of the year. I attended that event, and that was awesome. And I know there was others here, so I won't speak on that. I'll leave it for others to talk about, but congratulations, Mr. Burnside.
Okay, well, it's Cybersecurity Month, October. The month of October is, and with that, I had the opportunity to go and sit and visit with some of our students at Dunbar High School, along with Ms. Matrika, she was there. And these kids, they just have amazing things going on, and I mean, they really have quite a future, and I'm just so impressed by all of them. Then also, ditto on Harns Marsh. I mean, what a great support you have here. And we really appreciate coming there. And I thought it was interesting how Representative Roach learned from Aladdin how not to say his ums and how to stand. And he's going to be using that and practicing that for sure, because I keep thinking about it every day now. So I really appreciate that, which is the drama coach. He really touched all of us, I think. And then also CHOPS too, because that's my background too. So I loved watching the kids and how they expressed everything. They knew details about what they were serving. It was just amazing. And I'd be a judge any day. Also, Fort Myers High School, I definitely appreciate the jazz band. They were awesome. And I really appreciated Mr. Dieter. His expression with these kids. I mean, I enjoyed him as much as the kids, just watching all of that. So I thought that was great. Next, the Dictionary Day. I appreciate the dictionaries because all my grandchildren received them, and now every day we have 10 new words that we're looking up. So it's really useful. It's really a great tool. So thank you to the Rotary. And then last is the coming up on Tuesday, the 15th, at the Burroughs Home, we have a Taco Fest. And that's where some of our schools will be using their culinary skills to compete for the best tacos. So if you're interested, I believe it's on our website, but I went last year, and those kids are amazing as well at what they do. We just have such amazing children in our district, and I think we really need to keep telling everybody that they're here and they're ours. So that's all I have to say.
Okay.
So I usually give my board report during the briefing, but I don't remember if I talked about Linda Mayer during my briefing, but since you're in front of me, I'm going to talk about you. I'm so appreciative that your teachers came to speak on behalf of Mr. D, but it made me a little sad that they didn't also talk about how much they love you. So I'm going to talk about how much I love you as a parent. When my daughter, my oldest, was going into middle school, I asked community leaders and I asked principals and I asked teachers, if your kid was going into middle school in the south part of the zone, where would you send them? and overwhelmingly, people said, I hear Linda Mayer is doing great things over at Bonita Middle. So we toured Bonita Middle, and we loved it. You were very welcoming and very open. And I think I may have mentioned at the briefing that after her 6th grade year was completed, Dr. Adkins moved you out of that building. And that was my first year on the board, so I'm like, dude, like, clearly the board has no control over hiring decisions because the superintendent moved you. But you had done such a great job of turning that school around that the principal that came in after you has also done a fantastic job. So I know that your staff is sad to see you go, but I also know that the tremendous impact you're going to have on every middle school student in the district is wonderful. To spread your talent, so to speak, amongst all of the schools. And this is the thing. You're awesome and you're sweet, but you're hardcore. So, and I think all of our middle schools are going to know that soon. So congratulations, not just to you, but to all the middle school students in Lee County, because you're going to have a tremendously positive impact. Those are my comments.
Okay. Ms. Vaughn?
Well, I want to segue on something that Ms. Patrica just said. Having spent 1.5 long years teaching middle school, no offense, Aiden, you need somebody hardcore, soft but hardcore. So I think all of us, we've already said how much we enjoyed our time at Harns Marsh and taking the tour of the school. So we thank you for that and saw some great classes. It's just too bad we didn't even have more time. It was actually more fun touring the classes than talking to the legislators, but hey, you know, what can I say? But I wanted to comment, most of us went to Mr. Burnside's, the honoring of Mr. Burnside, and I thought that it was particularly cool that this was Talc's selection. So when you see, you know, it's management and union and all of that, but the teachers absolutely appreciate our outstanding principals. And I wanted to finish my comments just a little editorializing on it. From all of our comments tonight, there were a couple things that really stood out to me. One is the lady who talked about how far she drove just to get to work. And I forget the percentage, but such a large percent of the teachers that drive, what was it? 69%. That's a huge percentage of teachers that drive so far to get to work. And I totally understand that. Years ago, I was in that situation, and it really, really underscores the value of our outstanding, highly effective principals, because the old adage, teachers don't leave schools, they leave principals, and that is so important. Another thing, and this Charlotte Fox touched on the value of our veteran teachers, and also it was brought up in the discussion, the Apples 2.0, the mentor teachers. When we lose our seasoned teachers, we not only lose a piece of the stability of a school, we lose people who are literally touching the future. Because I can tell you that I've kept up with many of, we called them not interns then, but we were cooperating teachers and student teachers. And my old district in Texas, there's still some of them, many of them that are still teaching in the same district. I know that, you know, I served as an Apples teacher, and back in Texas, the equivalent of that. And I've done mentoring both informally and formally. And I can tell you that my first 2 years of teaching, it was kind of like, here you go, sink or swim. And I nearly drowned that first year. I really did. And I actually looked at other possible professions that I would be interested in. I just didn't. And I had an opportunity to change schools and got a little more help at school number 2, but by the end of the second year, I knew what I was doing. And so I can't emphasize enough to all of you out there, we have to do something about this because, as I said, we lose stability in the schools and we lose those people that touch the future and help our next generations of teachers. End of the editorial, and I'm done.
Okay. That's right.
So I would also like to thank Charla for coming forward with the information. We learned during the sales tax effort that people respond to information. It's not about saying that we don't pay teachers enough. It's about making it real, about talking about the numbers and how those numbers compare to the general population. And so I think we really do need to focus on those, and I appreciate her coming forward and providing data points for us. I also want to say, I've known Linda Mayer since I got on the school board, and watched her when I was a new school board member at Bonita Middle, and I was just so incredibly impressed by the way she worked, particularly with people in the community. And, I was sorry to see her go, as Chris said, and Harns Marsh got a real gift. And they've been able to, I can't say enjoy the gift because it probably wasn't enjoyable every single day, but everybody learns and grows. I think that's what this business is about. Everybody needs to learn and grow, and that's where Linda is. And she's also about data and using data to help us learn and grow. So I'm really excited also for all of the middle schools and for the opportunity that they will have to work with her, and it'll be fun to see you downtown. So looking forward to you. I do want to mention that I went to the League of Women Voters Forum on Diversity and Inclusion on Saturday. It actually was quite good. I forget the name of the gal who represented FGCU, but she spoke very well. And then Dr. Shirley Chapman gave us a very good look at the Lee County School District prior to '68 and after. And then Chuck Bradley did a terrific job following up on the presenter from FGCU, talking about Title IX, Title VII, how they relate, what's federal, I'll never get through this, Chuck, but what's federal as it relates to staff versus federal as it relates to students, and the overlap between 7 and 9 and 504. Talked at length about how we handle the statutes in our policy and our procedures. It was, I think, for the community members who attended, it was a great seminar on how the federal government and we as a school district try to protect the rights of students and provide opportunities for those students or staff, for that matter, to seek redress when they feel that they have not been respected. So I want to thank you for speaking in that community forum because I thought you did a really terrific job. So, and those are my comments.
Okay, thank you. Well, ditto, 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 to all the things that we went to together. I won't repeat those. I want to say to the board, thank you for allowing Ms. Patrica and I to travel to Finance 2.0 to get more training so that we can help the board and the district as best we can. I failed last time to mention the educational Sunday, the educational Sunday event at Mount Olive Church. And they honored educators in Lee County, and it was really a nice event. Pastor Givens is the pastor of Mount Olive, and the program was put on by Mr. Karoy Bethay and the youth ministry group there. Mrs. Watson, Nikita Watson, was also there with me, and another teacher from Lehigh Acres Middle spoke. So I wanted to thank them for that. It is National Breast Cancer Month. And not to be a downer, but cancer is a big and major issue. And I had to attend 2 funerals last weekend because of cancer. So I am saying, I think 2 of us have on pink, and we will wear pink again. 3? Oh, I'm sorry, we have 3. And if you can remember to wear pink this month for Breast Cancer Month and just cancer in general. And I admonish everyone to donate, not just money, but donate your time and your energy and walking and doing Relay for Life or whatever it is. One of the things I said when I spoke this weekend was, if I asked everybody in the audience to raise their hand that has known someone that has polio or their family's been affected by polio, very few hands would raise. But then if I asked those that had been affected in some way by friends or family or coworkers with cancer, almost every hand went up. And I heard this morning there were 2 young men that got, I believe, a Nobel Prize for some of their efforts on curing cancer. We just need more of it and awareness of it as well. An interesting thing I did too last week was I got to sit in on the NBC2 News editorial meeting. And I mention that because it is so fascinating. When you turn on your TV at 5 or 6 or in the morning and you see a story that you were sitting around the table and they said, well, what about this? And then a few hours later, they have everything all laid out, interviews and pictures and all of this kind of stuff. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And if you ever get an opportunity to visit some of the TV stations and see what their editorial staff does. And I asked them, for one, to do a segment on the birth of a story, an idea and how it goes from this to this to this, because it's fascinating, it's amazing, and I want to thank them for that opportunity. I think that's it. Thank you, Harns Marsh. I think I said that before. Thank you all for coming. And and congratulations to the other recipients of change of assignments and all, Jessica Duncan and Ken Savage. And I don't know if I missed anybody else that's out there, but congratulations to you as well. Okay. Okay, and I think that that's all that I have to say. And Mr. Aiden, I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for being so brave and reading all of that stuff you had to read. You did a wonderful job. And yeah, let's give him another hand. And would you like to give us some comments on the meeting or your experience?
Thank you very much for having me here. It was a very educational experience, and it's great being up here.
It looks different from up here, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
I'm sorry, and I thought this was going to be on the agenda. It was the FSBA alternate, and it.
Good cause.
A good cause. And I don't know, so I don't know if I should have.
It wasn't on there, did we? So can we bring that up?
Should I brought it to go to the order? I don't know.
Make the
Can
motion.
we do it as good of the order?
Yeah, I think a motion would be in order.
So, real quick then, I would like to motion the FSBA alternate to be, for the Board of Directors, to be Debbie Jordan, and I would also like to make a motion for the legislative alternate to be Gwen Gittens.
Okay, we've heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A second, any discussion? Okay, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I think it's unanimous, thank you. Okay, I think it's attorney first and then superintendent.
Thank you. I don't really have anything to report. As you know, we had some executive sessions earlier, and so you're up to date on that litigation, but I don't have anything else to report.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent?
Just one quick item, Madam Chair. Just wanted to recognize really the employees of our school district and Dr. Pruitt for her leadership on the United Way Executive Board. We are being recognized by the United Way for the 2018-19 100,000 plus Circle of Excellence, and it's in recognition of your outstanding generosity and commitment to improving the lives of the people of our community. So for 18-19, the Lee County School District, this is presented to the employees of the Lee County School District, collectively raised $142,992.35 for United Way. So congratulations.
Okay.
That's all my comments this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Don't forget, treat people the way you want to be treated, talk to people the way you want to be talked to. Respect is earned, not given. Our next scheduled meeting of the board is on Friday, October 17th. There will be a board workshop at 9 a.m. as well as a briefing meeting at 1 p.m. At this point, having no other business before this body, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, my calendar shows October 17th as a Thursday, not a Friday.
That was for the workshop and the briefing. We don't have the action meeting in here.
No,
It says the next scheduled meeting is October 17th.
You said that it was October 7th. It reads October 17th. You said it was Friday, October 17th. I just don't want to confuse any members of the audience.
The 17th is a Thursday, though, correct? Yes.
And that's a workshop meeting, and I
Yes.
believe you have an executive session that day as well.
Okay.
And,
Do we need to say our action meeting in here as well?
No.
Okay. Okay, so let me make that correction. Our next scheduled meeting of the board is Thursday, October 17th. There will be a board workshop at 9 and a briefing meeting at 1 p.m. and an executive session as well. So at this point, having no other business to come before this body, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Ms. Giovanelli, seconded by Ms. Jordan. Please record your vote. We're waiting, and it's unanimous. We are adjourned. Motion carries 7-0.